Hello, my favorite people in the world. This is a new design brought to us by our favorite loomer, MsLoom. It is her newest creation called the Curly Twirly Bracelet. And why is it called that? Because of all these really neat curly twirlies on that border and everywhere else. Fantastic job. So we are going to try our hardest to recreate this today. So as most of you know, I do my tutorials and then come back and then film my intro. So during the tutorial, you're going to see me saying, what colors should I choose? Should I choose Bling? But just to give you an insight, this is a hook only. You will be doing some transferring, so you can do it on a Rainbow Loom hook, or if you have a double-sided crochet hook, size 3/5 would be great. This is a non-bling design, but because I already had some bands that had some beads on them, I just went ahead and used them to see what I could come up with. So that is about a 3mm glass faceted bead right there, and it's clear. And it just gives it just a little bit of a nice little sparkle to the design. Please be sure that you do click on MsLoom's link below so you can see her original renditions, so the color schemes and without the bling and whatnot. But if you do choose to use bling, you'll see once we get started on what step that I added the bead. And I believe that the great MsLoom had also maybe created a bracelet with maybe some beads on the outside. So you've got lots of choices. It's really comfortable. It's a little bit raised, so you can see on the center it kind of goes in, and it's not hard at all, and you can make this rather quickly. One last thing is she does suggest and for herself likes the border done in that 300 pack of Rainbow Loom bands, which are just the thinner type of a band. In this one I had done it in the white metallic, which is the silicone, and I just love the result. And the center I had done in the Peach Frost limited edition, and my beaded bands are done in the glitter metallic or white glitter Rainbow Loom. So we do this in 2 steps. We do this whole center part, which is the peach and then the glitter, clear glitter, and then our second step is to do the border. So when you do the center part, make it to wrist size. It does not shrink or expand once we do add the border. So why don't you grab your supplies and then we will get started. Okay, so see all that? That's all the glitter. So I haven't made this with any bling yet, but maybe you would try today, put some whatever bands I use that have beads on them. You do not have to use yourself. You can just use a plain band. So you already know my colors because I tape my intro after my tutorial. So that is the Peach Frost LE, and I'm going to couple that with these what are they? White glitter bands with some beads on them. These are about, they're a no-no. These I already had on bands, and I say they're a no-no because they don't fit the band, and you can see right there it's ready to come off. But like I said, I already had these on, so I'm just going to try to use them. And then maybe some gray for the outside. So let's get started. So I want to use my pink or my peach as my main color, and then this white as the other color, which we don't always do. We usually use, like, this would be the color that but whatever. Okay, so we take and we make our cap band, and then we want to take 2 bands and we want to put that cap band over on top. When we put them back on our hook, we want to make sure that they are in order. So this one is this center band and then the outside band. Really important because we're just going to use certain bands from here on out. Okay, so once we have our 4 loops, now we want to take our next color and we just want to grab this first band here, slide it over, and close it up. And I'm not really caring if that loop is in front of my bling or behind. So then we want to slide it or turn it. And we want to do the same. So we just, well, first we need to make sure our bands are the same. So this one is to go out there. Okay, so we just want to grab that outer band and close it up. Okay, so that's what you should have. And then we want to continue with the color that we're starting with. So my glitter white bands, we're only going to use 2 of that color per pattern segment. And you'll see what I mean. So we want to go back to our original color and we want to pull all of these loops on top. Okay, and now we only want to grab these outer, like in my case, we only want to grab the glitter bands. So the first 2 and then the last 2. Okay, so we want to make sure that they stay in the middle. So when we close it up, we have that peach frost band is on the outside. So however your bands are going to stay are going to have a lot to do with what type of band you're using. If you're using all LE, they're going to slide around, but if they move, it's okay, we can grab them. So we want to take all of these bands, and it's okay if they go out of order, which they probably will, but we want to take all of these bands and put them back on a new band here. And so see, this white one here came out. It needs to be over on top. So I'm just going to slide my hook under to make sure that I have it like that. And then this white band slid out again on this right side. So I just want to make sure I put it back in position, grab that band, and then close it up. Once you get them on your hook, they're not going to move around. So that, my friends, is your first pattern segment. So that's what we will continue to do. Besides adding 2 bands in the beginning, now since we have our 4 loops, we can continue to add our bands to the outside loop. So this will actually, I guess you could say, start the pattern. So again, we just want to loop that outer band, turn it around. We want to loop the outer band on this side, close it up. So we have our second color or secondary color on the outside, and then we have 2 bands in the center, 2 loops. So we want to go back to our main color and pull everything on top. Like so. So then we want to go back and just grab that secondary color. So my first 2 next to my hook, and then the last 2 like that, making sure that we try to keep them in order so those 4 bands stay in the center. Take another one of that same color, again pull all your bands on top, trying to keep them in order, and then we want to grab that one band on the outside and the other side of it on this side and close it up. So you can see what we're doing is by keeping those bands in the center, it's creating that little bit of a teardrop right there. Okay, so then we just continue doing this until it is the size of our wrist. And that is the center part of our bracelet. So we're only looping on the outside bands, going back to our main color. Only grabbing the outer secondary colored bands and making sure they kind of stay in the center there. Same color again. Pulling everything on top and making sure if they slide around, put them back in order like that. And coming here and grabbing that one, close it up. And it looks exactly the same on the back side. Okay, so we'll do a couple more and then we'll go on our own. So if you wanted, or if you don't have a double-sided hook, you can always take it off and turn it, making sure that you grab all of the bands in the correct order. And how I look is make sure that this band here on the left is in the center, and the band that we need to grab, this band secondary color, is on the outside. So if you are adding bling, it'll be to your discretion if you want your beads to be on the outside, or if you want this, in my case, peach band to go over it. Okay, and then we pull everything through a new band, grabbing the 4 outside, like that. Pulling everything onto a new band, and then capturing that single band in there, making these fall down on the sides. Okay, so I'll do a couple more. Excuse me, these outside ones like to pop over, but I can fix that when I go back. So if they did pop over, you can kind of go back in there and recapture it like that, and then just kind of pull this one over so you can re-grab that band there. Excuse me, as long as you can get these bands down to the sides like that. Excuse me, sorry about that. So there is one other way you can add without having to turn your hook. So if you take your beaded band or your regular band, pull it through all of the bands on your hook. It'll be easier if I do it without a beaded band, I guess I could show you. So if you don't want to turn it, you can pull a band through everything and then just recapture this second one next to your hook, third one, and last one, and close it up. And then you can just take and pull those bands over to get it into the position that you want. So you can do that instead of having to turn your hook, if that would make it easier. Alrighty, I have to take this one off now, but so if you need further instruction, you can absolutely rewind back. I think you guys are really bright and can grab this pretty quickly. But I think it's safe to say that we can kind of go on our own and finish this up to the size of our wrist. See that these outside ones really like to flip out sometimes, but you can fix it. As I mentioned, you just want to go underneath there and pull that band back under, so that white one there goes back on the inside, and then the same with this one. You just want to kind of pull that band over so you can get it where those bands are in the center. Okay, so mine might look a little bit out of sorts. My bead, you see that? I just broke a band. My beads may not be in the center of the band, so if you are using beads, make sure that they are in the center, and that way everything looks legit and lined up. So I need to go back one step and fix that one up. But let's go ahead and finish this step up. And then again, our next step will be the border, and we will be finished. So finish up, size of your wrist, and we'll meet back. Okay, so we have the inner part of our bracelet complete. And it should be as long to fit, should be the length of your wrist. And this is what it should look like. So, excuse me, as I mentioned earlier, typically we would use like that peach frost band as the highlight, and then like this color would be the back. But I already had those strung, so I wanted to do it this way. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back down to where our cap band is, and I choose to use metallic white. I would more or less like to choose metallic gray or metallic silver, but it's a little too dark for this color scheme. But MsLoom does suggest that you use, she likes the effect with the 300 bands on the outside. She says that it stays more true to its name, but I'm just going to try with these. Alright, so if you remember at the beginning, we used 2 bands to go through our cap band. So you see we have this outer band here, and then we have an inner band in there. And it's kind of like that the whole way up. So you see right there you have this inner band and then this outer one. We're always going to take this inner band. But when we pull it to the side, that's pretty much the only one that you can see is the one that we're going to grab. Okay, but you'll see what I mean here in a second. So just to start out, we have one way we're going to do it. After we do this first one here, we'll start with the pattern. So again, we're not going through the cap band, but through that first inner band, if you're holding your bracelet on the side, you're going to put your hook through, and you are able to use your rainbow loom hook. And we'll take our first band and we're going to pull that through both loops and then close it up. We'll take another of the same color and we want to pull it through that first loop, recapture it, and then we want to take this side up and over our hook like that, and then we can reattach. Okay? And then to close, you want to pull a brand new band through all 3 loops on your hook and close it up. So it's pretty much exactly what we're going to do the whole time, but just one step different. Alright, so once you have those 2 loops on your hook, again, making sure your bracelet is to the side. Yours may look a little bit different because I have a bead on mine, but those bands that you have in place where my glitter white are, we're never going to touch those. We're always going to touch the inner color there. So in my case, it's the peach frost. Okay, so remember I said that we have 2. We have this one here, and then we have this one. When you turn it to the side, you can only see the one you're going to grab. So you want to stick your hook in and grab that first band there. Okay, so this starts the pattern. Once you have your hook in, you'll have 4 loops on your hook. We want to take a fresh band and we want to pull the first 3 loops on top. So that leaves this last band hanging there. We grabbed our center part of the bracelet plus 1 loop from what we had on our hook. Then we want to close it up, 3 loops. And then we want to take our next band and we want to pull it through the first 2 loops on our hook. And then we want to recapture the one closest to the hook, like that. Then again, we want to take this part here and we want to pull it up and over. It creates a little bit of a knot there. And then we just want to simply close it up. Okay, after we do that step, last, we just pull a band through all the loops on our hook, and that's it. Super simple. All right, so since we just did this one here, we want to go up to the next one and just grab that teardrop right there, and then again pulling a clean band through the first 3 loops and then close it up. Our next band goes through the first 2 loops on our hook. Then we recapture the one closest to our hook, and then we want to pull this band up and over and then close it up. And then to finish the step, we pull a clean band through all 3 loops and close it up. Okay, so that's what you should have, and it does create a nice clean looking teardrop on the edge. Okay, so we'll do a couple more. So I want to skip this colored band right there, make sure my bracelet's on the side so I grab these bands correctly. Grabbing that perfect teardrop shape like that. Band through the first 3, close it up. A band through the first 2, recapture the one closest to your hook, pull this one up and over and close it up, and a new band through all 3 loops on our hook. Again, skipping this one here and then going to the next one in line. Pulling it through the first 3 loops, close it up, pulling a new one through the first 2 loops, recapturing the first, pulling this band up and over, then closing it up, and then pulling a new band through all loops on your hook, like that. I'm loving the colors already, and I'm sure loving that bling in there too. It's a clear bead, it's a faceted bead, so it's cut and sparkly. Okay, let's do one more and then we'll just go off on our own. So I'm noticing I'm stitching it through on the front, but I need to grab that on the side. Okay, so if you're noticing like this one here, I have to make sure I have it on the side so I can grab this one correctly. Through the first 3, close it up. Through the first 2, recapture this one up and over, close it up, and then a new band through all 3 loops. Clear this out. Okay, that's what it is. It's super easy, but look how pretty it comes out, huh? So let's continue that up until we get to the end of our bracelet, and then we'll meet up there and we will start the other side. So I'm gonna look real quick because I haven't noticed yet. I'm looking at the back. I'm looking at the front. I have to really, yes, there is a difference, which means we're gonna have to loop this side backwards. So let's go ahead and finish that up. Okay, so this is what has come out so far. I love the beads. I think it looks really cool, really pretty with those beads in there. So I'm at the end, and I did put an extra band up here. So when you end the bracelet in the center half, let me get this one out of here quick if I can. Okay, so when you end the bracelet, that's what it should look like right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same stitch. So I'm going to take my new band through like I normally would, then through the next 2, pick that one up, take it over, and close it up. And I'm going to do that again right there when I get to the other side. So technically, I probably, excuse me, I probably should have done it. Well, I'm not going to take it apart. Technically, I probably should have done it from the side there, and then this band would still be open, but I think I'll be okay just for now. So my finishing band there, and then we stick our clip in there to secure it. It is a little bit past the end, so might fix that in a bit. Okay, so once that side's done, and as I mentioned earlier, this being the front, and then if you turn it around, you can see that there's a distinct difference from the front and the back, and it also kind of caves in a little bit. So you can see it on the front here, it kind of mounds up. So that says that we need to make sure that we stitch this from the top down instead of just turning it over and stitching it up. Okay, so with that in mind, we want to have our cap band up here, but we have our bracelet down this time. And we want to do this upside down. So we need to go inside here and grab that inner band. And we're just doing the exact same step. There's no difference even though we're going down. So the first one goes through, and then we go through the first loop, recapture, pull that over, close it up, and then the last band goes through everything. So this time we have our hook here, and then we pull it down and make sure it's to the side. And so we know our next set is right there. So I know mine is after the bead. Oops. Okay, so I just went through this one. There's that next band. If you can kind of pull it apart a little bit, you can see that one right there. And then we just repeat, pull that band through those 2 loops, the first one on your hook. Next band goes through the first 2, recapture, pull that up and over, close, and then one band holds everything. Okay, so then I'm holding this down. It might be too soon to see if it's matching. Yes. We'll wait a couple more stitches to make sure I'm doing it correctly. Okay, so I come down into the next set. So I'm on the side here. So I'm going to go a little bit faster because we know what we're doing. The key is just making sure we're grabbing the same bands that we grabbed on the other side. Alright, so let's take a peek here. Looks like everything is matching up, so we're doing it the right way. I'm going to flip it. And then again, everything is, all the bands are going in the same direction. So that is how we complete the second side. Okay, we'll do one more and then I'm going to let you guys do it. And then we can compare in the end our beautiful designs. Okay, so let's go ahead, we'll finish this up, and then we'll meet back once we reach the bottom. Alright, so I am at the end of my bracelet, and so what I did was I just stuck my hook through those 2 center color bands. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and take this out and take these bands out because it is too far, which I apologize because MsLoom probably explained how to do this and I'm not doing it the way she said. But I want to take let's see here. Oh, I don't want it to all fall apart. Alright, so I want that band. And then I want this band. And then I want that band there. Oh heck, I don't know. That might be. Anywho, let me just do this quickly. That's what I was going for there. So right when I get to this last step, I'll take that one out. probably so just confused you. So we want that one down on there like that. I hope I so didn't confuse you. I'm trying to make it similar to this end, so when we close it up. Okay, so that center band there, that in my case it's that peach frost, I just stuck a band through all three, like how we close it up. That's what I did. So then I ended up with 4 bands on my hook. And then I just want to take one more to stick it through for close up. Okay. I hope I didn't confuse you. Alright, so then I just want to stick my C-clip on here. Like that. And voila! We are done. I love it. It's super pretty. And it is kind of concave. So you can see that's the back. And there's the front. And let's make sure it fits my wrist. And it fits it perfectly, which means that the center does not stretch or shrink up as you're looming it. And I love the beads. I think it just gives it enough of a little bit of a sparkle. It's not too overbearing. So then again, there's the back. Great job, MsLoom, one of my best friends on Instagram. I can't thank God enough for meeting you. Thank you for all of your wonderful designs and allowing me to share them with the world. So again, make sure that you guys thank her. She deserves a big shout out for continuously bringing us really beautiful designs. And I hope you guys are satisfied with your rendition. Make sure that you do tag us and post on Instagram or Facebook and allow us to see your creativity for your rendition of this gorgeous design. So thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.